inject tumor cells, so we know that this animal is going to live say 20 days. Any increase in that 20 days is considered as anti-cancer activity percentage. So that animal lives to 30 days, there is substantial increase in lifespan. So like that, traditional extracts were showing anti-cancer activity, good percentage increase in lifespan. But the moment we separate them out, activity was being lost, and pure compound had no activity. That opened our eyes. That every time you may not get a pure compound, sometimes you may. But the way in which these people are using it, if you use it in the same way, it is effective. Third thing in this I learned, because that was cancer, we wanted to do its toxicity. So normally, because that is oil, not soluble in water, so normally in pharmacy what we do, if we want to test oil cannot be administered to respiratory animals easily. So we have to make emulsion. So we take some chemical and surfactant and just make an emulsion so we can inject easily. Similarly, we used to make emulsions of that Bhalataka oil and give it to experimental animals. To our surprise, I was shocked that all animals were dying. When I am giving it to animals, all animals are dying even at low dose. And this is how epistemology comes in. I said that I will not believe my own results because I am consuming more Bhalataka what I am giving it to animals. Nothing has happened to me. Why animals are dying? This is science. This is how we progress. So we challenge our own results. I went back to Vaidya, sat with him, talked to him. And then I realized that when Vaidya is using this medicine, they are using in ghee. In Ayurveda, Bhalataka is advised to be taken with ghee. It is called as, or they have to detoxify. There are toxic compounds. When we emulsify them, you are forcing your body to take something which naturally it will not. When you give them in some natural diluent like ghee, your body has choice what to absorb and what to reject. In that case, toxic compounds are not absorbed and they are removed through feed. This is what used to happen. So imagine if we would not have challenged our own results. Our work was in government laboratory. So our results, if you would have published, Bhalataka would have been banned in India as toxic medicine. And it would have been so unjust because it is not toxic. The way in which you are using is toxic. Health policy, I don't know how many of you have read National Health Policy released by Government of India, but earlier there used to be two health policies for India. There was one health policy which was published by Ministry of Health, and there was another health policy which was published by the Department of Ayush. And then questions were asked that how can different policies be there for one country? You have Ayush policy for health and you have modern medicine policy for health. And then people said that health is health. There cannot be Ayurveda health and modern health. So health policy should be one policy. And what you see today, the policy document at the website, you will see that there is now only one national policy. The draft national policy document discusses how to improve healthcare delivery and align with technological advances. This they have brought in very strongly. They have also said that there is need for mainstreaming Ayush systems in healthcare. They have also agreed that mainstreaming meaning not only giving Ayush medicines in primary healthcare. As you know, today's health policy is continuum of the Alma Ata Declaration, where primary healthcare focus was given, and since then, in India we have primary health, secondary health, and tertiary health. These three levels of healthcare we are following. Tertiary level of healthcare is super specialty, which happens in referral hospitals. Secondary level of healthcare happens in district hospitals, and primary healthcare at the primary healthcare centers, which are distributed in small taluk places. In each of these layers, they are saying that Ayush integration is needed. But today, you will see that India is facing several challenges in policy. The first challenge we are facing is, in India there is a diverse qualifications of medical practitioners. We have allopathic practitioners, MBBS, and typical healthcare is considered as domain of only modern practitioners today. So you will find that in most of the government hospitals, main treatment that is given is not Ayurveda or anything, but it is modern medicine. Now this is not a good sign. So the new policy has used a term called mainstreaming. Mainstreaming meaning Ayush system should not sit in isolation. They should be brought into the mainstream of healthcare. So in healthcare, in primary healthcare also, Ayush practitioners should be involved. In district hospitals also, Ayush practitioners should be involved. Even in super specialty, Ayush practitioners should be involved. Because at every level, they have more to play. And you will be surprised to know that today in India, even top hospitals, very few only, have started Ayush treatment means for example, in Delhi, one of the most modern and recent hospitals called Medanta, started by Dr. Naresh Trehan, who is one of the eminent cardiac surgeons. You will find that in that hospital, Ayush practitioner sits next to modern practitioner. Earlier, there used to be some Ayush departments in government colleges or in government hospitals, but their space used to be in basements. All 5-star facilities are available for allopathic doctors, and these practitioners will sit somewhere in shady, dingy, dark rooms. That was the status. Now the new policy is giving them equal status to handle those conditions which they can handle better. So in Medanta, you will see that patient after surgery for rehabilitation, they are taking this panchakarma or diet advice from Ayurvedic. They are doing meditation to improve their internal strength for early recovery. So these are the new changes which are coming up. But what is not happening is, and this will not happen only by bringing in a policy document. That will happen only when mindset changes happen. Not only policy will not bring it, but policy has now given opportunity to do that. This new policy, now we have separate ministry for Ayush. So the status of Ayush is improved to the ministerial level. But the sector should now respond in the same response. Because the sector should come out and do aggressive documentation of their practices. For example, even your Panchakarma. Panchakarma gives benefit. We know it by experience. But if somebody asks that, what is the evidence that Panchakarma actually helps in something like, say, dementia? Now we know in front of us people sleep. So what is there to show? What happens, what changes happens in brain, that someone should study, that some neurobiologist should study. So this kind of a scientific evidence plugging in for this policy initiatives is not coming up and listening. So just last week, we have submitted our report. I was member of a ministerial task force. 14-member task force was appointed by Ayush Ministry, and I was one of the members. We just finished our report last week. In that report, we have said that doing modern research should not be the responsibility of traditional practitioner alone. And you cannot humiliate traditional practitioner saying that they don't know science. In the same way, they can humiliate modern scientists saying that you don't know tradition. So this kind of a conflict does not help, for country it is not going to be useful. So onus of scientific research should be put on modern scientists. Modern medical scientists should do some research on Ayush practitioner. And for that we have made a substantial budgetary provision in this recommendation. We are saying that institutes like All India Institute of Medical Sciences should do research work on Ayush. For example, if you want to understand what happens when you give Shirodhara, what happens, neurological changes are happening, neurologists should do that. And not Ayurvedic practitioners or Panchakarma therapists can do that. You cannot ask this question to them. We have given recommendation for over 250 postdoctoral fellowships for Ayurveda research, which will be distributed in top of the top institutes in the country. So not only hospitals, but for example, National Chemical Laboratory, which is one of the large laboratory doing chemical research, or National Institute of Molecular Biology, or Central Institute of Molecular and Cellular Biology. In all these places, funding is given now for doing research on Ayush. So we hope that with these kinds of few changes, which are now helped through the new national policy, there will be some impetus given for scientific research on Ayush systems or Indian traditional systems, or for that matter, any other traditional systems. Because Swarippa is already part of Ayush, so the funding opportunities are also available for Swarippa under these processes. The last thing I want to say is, while all this is happening, the business is not going to stay quiet. In India, there is a big business of education and industry. Medical colleges are increasing. Medical doctors' quality is decreasing. That also has been covered by this policy, that new medical colleges which are government funded should be brought in, because private medical colleges are charging huge amount of fees. Today, for admission for one seat in medical college, you have to spend something, even if you are in merit, you have to spend something like 50 lakhs of rupees. And if you are not in merit, then you may have to spend 1 crore also. We don't know. So this is not the way to create good doctors. So this has to be broken. So now the new policy amendment I will say that, because earlier it was not there, that to consider Ayush practitioners at the same level of modern medicine practitioners. So they will get now jobs in government services, in district health hospitals. Earlier there were no jobs available for Ayush practitioners. So now with this new policy, these jobs will be available as in public health systems also, these jobs will be available. In hospitals also, formally jobs will be available to Ayush practitioners. And by that, one of the advantages that country is getting is, if you look at the global statistics, India ranks very low in one of the indicators, and that is patients to doctor ratio. Patient to doctor ratio in India is very low. There are very, very few doctors per 10,000 people as compared to many other developed countries. So by adding Ayush practitioners and giving them recognition as medical practitioners, suddenly this number is going to get doubled. So in global parameters to assess any country, India's status will be little bit elevated because by and large there are about 6 to 7 lakhs of modern medicine practitioners of allopath and 6 to 7 lakhs of Ayush practitioners. So earlier only 6 lakhs were being considered. Now this 6 plus 6, 12 lakhs practitioners will be considered. So these are some of the important policy changes which have happened. Yeah. And if you have any questions on the policy related matters, again I will be able to try to address them because I was part of the 11th plan and 12th plan recommendations. Since 11th plan, since we came into this planning of the health business for the government, we started pushing on it. Earlier, I was not very immediate. So 11th plan was 10 years ago. So this 10 years effort, now in this new policy, have started showing something.
I have one question.
Yes.
Related to the previous topic. Previous topic.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what's say? Ayurveda, according to the Ayurveda, Vata Pitta Kapha, is as you already said in some point, that it is possible to find any kind of the bacteria, virus, or cell which we can prove the three dosha. And then there are different kind of the Vata Pitta Kapha. So it is also possible to make one evidence through the cell, chemical.
See, at present, Vata Pitta Kapha work has been carried out based on genetics, not based on microbiology. But tomorrow, even now we are thinking of looking at human microbiome and see whether the microbial population in Vata is different than Kapha and in Vata. I don't know if you know, but what we say if you talk in terms of biology and number of cells, we are in minority in our own body. Human cells contribute to only 10% of the living cells in our body. 90% of the cells, there are about 100 trillion cells in our body. Out of that, only 10 trillion cells are human cells. Remaining 90 trillion cells are microbial cells. So we cannot undermine microbial population because they are part of us. And so, looking at the microbiota, what we talked about, of Vata Pitta, this is one of the future projects which we will do.
We had a session here, so we want to thank Dr. Bhushan